I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? And the second thing is adopt the 2014 budget for the city of Blue Ridge. This is our final reading, final one. Okay, introduction, our first reading, and our second reading. Approved purchase of 2 tractors paid for from SPLOST funds. These are smaller tractors.
Yeah, those, as y'all may know, the tractors we've got for bush hogging the streets and all, they're wore out. We've had them since way before I came to work for the city. And they're probably 30 years old. And so these 2 tractors, we put them in next year's SPLOST budget for streets. And the reason I had it on there, I was going to ask if y'all would give us permission to go ahead and place an order this month for them, and then they'll be paid in January or February, whenever we pick them up in time to start mowing in springtime.
And one of these is smaller so that we can get in areas like between the guardrails where we had some issues getting in there. So there's a smaller one and a larger one.
We are pulling that from SPLOST.
And it's, one will pull the bush hog and one will do the other side arm.
Yeah. And the money is in the SPLOST account right now that we're carrying out of this year into next year. So, I mean, the money's there, that we could get it.
Okay. Number 4, any questions about the tractors? Sunday sales. And we do have to put that on referendum. And so I guess that is something, if we need some discussion about it today. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any comments about Sunday sales? I know we've had lots of discussion in the past.
Well, I can make some comments about what it's going to do for you.
Okay, that's good.
Right now, our liquor sales should be in someplace between $270,000 and $300,000 a year coming into the budget. If you take a look at what Sunday might do, it's going to have a larger effect than just 1/6 increase. Because what we're losing is not only the revenue from Sunday sales, you're losing tax revenue, and bed tax, because people aren't staying here on the weekends. Now we've got communities around us that they have the opportunity to go to and have a Sunday brunch with alcohol. So we're finding that that increase from Sunday sales would have a positive effect on everything. The other thing, you've got a vibrant downtown that's growing, and it's producing more tax revenue. The residential side of the community is not growing, it's getting older. And you need to look at bringing tax revenues in from the commercial side, from the business side, to help support the population which is living in Blue Ridge, which is getting to be an older population. If those of us in business don't pick up a heavier burden, the burden will be put on the residential people. And those people are older. This happened last week on Sunday, just this past Sunday. As a matter of fact, one of the council members was there. We had a 12 top come in, and they were staying 12 nurses from Birmingham, Alabama. They called themselves the Dazzling Dozen. This is their 4th year up here, and they came in, the first thing they ordered was champagne. We couldn't serve it. And the comment was, we'd have gone to Brasstown if we'd have known that. So we got to lunches, but that was 12 people. This is their 4th year up here. And they thought that when the other liquor came through and then they were in Friday night, they thought we could serve Sunday. A funny story, I'll share this, I won't say anything else. I've been coming here about 40 years, a little over 40 years. Years ago, my friend and I, who had relatives here in the county, we'd been up fishing for a few days, and he called his uncle to get some apple dessert to take home, if you get what I mean. And his uncle says, well, he says, you can't take it, can't sell it to you on Sunday. He said, I'll be going to church. He says, but come over for Sunday dinner. You can take it after I get back from church and go to dinner. Sunday sales have been here forever. We just now need to make it legal, bring it on, and let the community benefit from it. Get our tax base built up.
When would it be a special referendum?
It would have to
You wouldn't wait till next, yeah. And how soon could that happen?
It would be on the March or April ballot.
Yeah, there's certain dates during the year that you can have an election.
We've got to have it.
So it would, I think the first one is like in March, but you've got to meet a time limit of advertising and all that, beforehand.
If it gets approved today and it has the 10 days and the superintendent can put it on, it could easily end up on the March because it's a 60-day window. So the March would work. I have the ordinance here.
And to just strengthen what Steve said, just looking at the sales, I think Terry Wilson said it the last time, that Saturday's the biggest day in sales, Friday's the second biggest. During the week it's not that much, but Sunday should equal Friday basically in sales. So it could be a 30% increase, which would, if you're bringing in 300,000, would be another 90,000 just in the taxes on the drinks, not counting people spending money on in the restaurants, shopping a little more. And I sat in Harvest Sunday night. We went there, and the couple we met, who've lived here a long time, just were going on and on about it. And the guy walked in, sat next to us. First thing he ordered was a glass of wine. And you know, they have to apologize constantly. So it'd be huge. So overall, that's all I have to say.
Well, if you're downtown, you do hear a lot of comments about it. If you're downtown on Sundays, which seems to be the day I shop downtown.
Well, if you're uptown on Sundays, you're here too.
Well,
Well, where's Uptown?
I still call you downtown. Uptown, downtown.
This will cover beer, wine, and mixed drinks.
It would cover all. Just, Canton and is Woodstock got it now? Yeah.
LJ
Those
has
areas.
it.
And it's still really odd for me to go in one of those places and sit down on Sunday and see somebody order a drink next to me or something, but, we're just not used to that. And I'm always thinking
East
next
LJ
Sunday.
has it now.
Yeah, East LJ has it, and Blairsville, I think, is doing it.
I don't know if they're.
Yes.
They're in the middle of doing a lot of things, so
They're gonna probably get a package store before we do.
they've got it approved to do it. Okay, any comments from y'all about themselves? CDBG, Summit Street. Well, you want to talk about that? Have y'all all been reading your emails?
We're down, according to the emails, the last one that I got, we're down to probably the final 2 to 3 weeks of the project. And everything is finished on Summit Street. They're up on the top street, McKinney Street, now, starting to put the water line in up there. And what they're needing to know is you've got one trailer down in Summit Lane that is needing to have a tank and a pump put in, a grinder pump that would pump the sewage back up to the main line that's located on Summit Street.
Which
And
is the reason we applied for the
Yes.
CDBG grant.
that's what started it all, to start with. And they're needing to know what direction to go on in that. And y'all all know
Yeah, we're
pretty much about that.
very familiar with what's going on. I'm gonna try to talk to Mr. Crane today, see if I can get him to agree to just kind of stand back and let it go in, since he was the one complaining about the problem with the sewage in the creek.
The health department has a very big file of all of his complaints, and they don't understand why he's not letting someone go in and correct it at this point. both of them, I mean, the state and the local one have,
Well, I mean,
have many issues.
he's placed many complaints. He called me many times about the
And there's a
Citizen Creek.
12-foot, there's a 12-foot easement there,
Mhm.
so.
I was looking at it in Bill's office.
It was in our original plans. We've changed our plans 2 or 3 times. We've increased our expenses on this project just because of this one particular person, and it's a lawsuit either way. So Mr. Mashburn's not happy because he felt like all along he was getting sewer and it would resolve some of the issues he has out there with Mr. Crane, and Mr. Crane just wants to run him off. So either way, you've got a problem. So.
I'll see if we can't handle it diplomatically today. And then if not, then we can act on it tonight.
Okay. Any other comments on that one? Do you want to do personnel, since we're going to do a executive session for that, or?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah. We're going to move personnel to last, because we're going to do it in executive session. So, our franchise fees will be the next one, and there's been lots of emails back and forth from David Siphon about our franchise fees with Atlanta Gas Light and some other things.
We have,
Did you get the final?
no,
It's not.
we have just a few things to clear up between Atlanta Gas Light. Their attorneys are looking at what we had drafted up to send to them, and we're just about to the point to where there's an agreement on everything on that. And it should be coming within, it may even come today sometime. But what we're wanting to do, David has drafted, and in your pack of stuff that you've got there, David has drafted a franchise agreement for Tri-State EMC. At this time, they're paying 1% franchise fee, and actually the franchise agreement ran out several years ago between us and Tri-State, but they have continued to pay the 1% that has been paid over the years to the city. And we have an agreement that is drawn up, and it is asking for 5%. That's what we are charging ETC on the cable company now. The 2 telephone companies are covered by state statutes that you have a 3% franchise fee for those. You can't go any higher. So they are set at 3%. And so the cable company is paying 5% right now on the current franchise fee agreement. So that's the reason that we set the franchise fee on the agreement for Tri-State at 5%, where it would be equal to the cable company. So his suggestion was that we send this agreement to them and let them sign it, agreeing to it, their board of directors. And then when it comes back, then you guys go in through the process of adopting the ordinance then. And what we need tonight is for you guys to either, you know, agree to let us go ahead and present it to them, or if you want to change the franchise percentage from 5%, the only way it can go is down. So whatever your call, that's what we're wanting to do. Give us some kind of instructions tonight to where we can go ahead and act on this and get it in place. And the one, I'm thinking the one with Atlanta Gas Light will be 5%. I've not seen the actual final.
I don't think it's been done
No.
from what I've been seeing compared.
Well, it's been quite a few emails.
Yeah.
A lot of reading.
Any questions? Okay. Franchise fees? Okay. Water rates,
I need to
excuse
get-
me.
I need to get Becky to come, she's gonna explain that to you.
I think we can do part of it without it.
Oh, okay.
We know that USDA is Is that
All right,
what you want her to explain? Because we do our water audits, USDA has said that, well, go ahead and her, she may have more than I know about it. She does all the water audits, but basically, we're gonna have to eliminate the not being paid for the 1,000 gallons of less.
Yeah,
Is what it all
makes,
boils down.
it messes up their calculation, because most, just about all the other places do not give you the 1,000 gallons.
Well, and it hurts our score in our water audits with the state, and we're scoring pretty low now because of other things that will be fixed when our new plant comes in and when our new lines, all those new lines go in, will make a big difference because our Mineral Bluff tank should be operating properly because they'll have new lines and they'll be able to run it through the loop and everything, but it really affects our rates and it can cause us problems like in trying to apply for more grants or anything else.
Should we hear this?
And as old as our infrastructure is, there's going to have to be other infrastructure repaired at some point, and we will need to apply for other grants as they come available. Distilled spirits. I think
There's a,
copy, do y'all all have a copy of
there's
this?
a copy
in
of
your
the
packet?
ordinance from Union County. And the mayor also asked me yesterday evening to send a copy of this to our city attorney, and he has looked at it, and I've also put in his comments on it.
I'm going to read part of this. I did a quick review and look at the applicable law. It appears that a form of manufacturing can take place under OCGA sections 3-4-24 and 24.1. The statutes contemplate the use of only Georgia raw agricultural products to create the distilled spirits and for the storage of the product immediately within warehouses, and then it is sold in counties, cities, and states that will allow the sale of distilled spirits. We'll need to see how the state regulates such sales, in that I don't see how a sales doesn't occur in the city unless the warehouses are outside the city. I think that's possibly could be a moot point at some time, but it's not right now. But basically what Richard is looking at doing is manufacturing in his building, but not selling out of there, right?
Right.
Just
At
manufacturing.
this point, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's actually what Tom Fennell is doing with the brewery. He is not doing any sales out of there. He just sells to restaurants in the areas.
He sells to a distributor.
Distributors, they sell to restaurants, yeah, that's right.
Then
But
it comes
his
from
goal-
him to the distributor, then to the restaurants.
His goal is with there's new legislation they're trying to pass this year that he would be able to actually sell from the premises. But that's brewing and not distilling, which I didn't know there were so many different things with this.
I'm going for bed.
Now, with the agritourism, if you read through what, so is David saying that not going through agritourism?
I don't know. I just received that this morning.
That was a new one.
Yeah.
Ambiguous.
And agritourism, in Union counties, and I believe Dawsonville and Belonga are going to be the same because they're doing theirs through agritourism, which is, you're planning on using raw goods from the area.
Absolutely.
All of it will be from Georgia, maybe not Fannin County, but from Georgia.
Right.
Okay.
And I think we can get most everything from the North Georgia area anyways, though.
Okay, which would be great, be even better. Manufacturing of malt beverages, wine and distilled spirits and tastings, and page 19 has number 3, distilled spirits made from perishable fruits grown in Georgia. And then, of course, it talks about the licensing on page 20 and number, I took your copy, sorry.
This one.
H. You doing this before, when you had had discussion with April and everything, they had said we couldn't do it. Do you remember for what reason? Because our ordinance didn't allow it, or
She just didn't, she didn't know about agritourism and other things at that point.
because she had not dealt with that?
Right.
Okay.
But eventually, we'd like for this to be like a little mini museum and have tastings and tasting counter and, you know, for the public, and kind of show people coming to Blue Ridge what it was like in the old days.
With the
With
brewing
moonshine
now,
equipment.
Patrick
Yeah.
Yeah.
brewed next door,
It's a good
but he
idea.
could not sell from that building, right? That was that the, do you know?
Yeah, the distiller or the brewer cannot sell, okay? Patrick's now, this is one of the great things, Patrick's now moving out of that building into a larger warehouse in town to do the brewing. This is why this is kind of exciting, you know, and to say what it does, again, bring a new tax base to town. You know, if you look at oysters, which is art, any way you look at it, and then we've had the olive oil store come to town, which is unique and clean. And then we've got two breweries, and both Blue Ridge Brewery and the Grumpy Old Men are doing fantastic, you know, and selling outside the area, plus brewing special beers for me.
They're now hiring people too. They
Yeah.
started off, Grumpy Old Men, they're hiring 2 or 3 people now
Right.
to
It's-
keep up. So,
This is something that could grow on Blue Ridge, which is clean industry, which I think, again, you know, we've talked about having a special event. And as you talk about something like Wine, Dine, and Shine, these are things that bring, you know, more and more tax dollars here. And the entrepreneurship that they're showing, I hope they do something, because we'll try and get them to do something special for us.
Well, we've definitely changed to a different type of manufacturing in North Georgia, haven't we?
We definitely.
We don't do jeans now, we do alcohol.
Yeah, but
And
it
it's
did,
clean.
but it did start with alcohol
Yeah,
years
Like I
ago.
said,
but it did.
It's coming full
But it
circle.
actually did.
It's a
It
full
started
circle.
with
That's what I'm saying.
moonshine years ago.
So it's
here.
coming full circle. Now it's legal and
Yeah.
the city
That's what I
can
said
make
a
money
bit
from
ago,
it.
you know, that was the apple dessert that we couldn't buy until after we had Sunday dinner with them.
Well, is it Dawson County or Dahlonega that has this still in their city hall? Dawsonville?
I think it's Dawson.
Dawsonville,
Yeah.
Dawsonville. But the revenue generator, I mean, it's amazing. And like you say, a lot of the money is coming from outside sources into our county, so it's kind of nice to be able to bring it from other areas too.
And that's a lot of our history here too. My family, the McKinneys and the Crawfords, cut the right of way after the railroad, started the town of Blue Ridge, and started First Baptist Church. And half of them drank moonshine, the other half made it, so.
A good thing they're not around to get in
Yeah.
trouble for that.
They're all dead, it must have killed them, I don't know.
Let's hope not.
Everybody knew it at the time, just didn't say
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Well, it is part of our heritage,
Yeah.
you
It
know, in this community. I don't think you'll find too many people that haven't.
You're talking about the good old days, when we still got them around.
Yeah,
Does he drink it?
and people are having to do it illegally now, so it'd be good to do it legally.
I guess I'm a bit unclear as to what our attorney, he's very ambiguous in his email, he contradicts himself. So what is he saying we need to do? I guess
Well,
that's my
it says that
question.
he's waiting to,
I think-
GDOR.
I think he's saying there's not an actual issue with
Mhm.
making it, the issue is storing it and selling
Yeah.
it.
But why are you saying that
But it
they
has
have
to
to
be-
be in the county to come into the city? I mean.
No, it has to be sold through a distributor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a state law.
Well, that's a state law right
Yeah.
now, that it has to be sold through a distributor, but they are working
Mhm.
on that. So I do think that there's a good possibility that will change a little bit.
So basically,
Right.
if Richard chooses to do this, he just has to go through the
Until we get.
Agritourism.
and we don't have to change anything with our current ordinance, do we? Or do we?
Yes. I don't think we have anything in our current ordinance for
Okay, we
agritourism.
just have to add that to
It would
it.
have to be added to it.
With agritourism, no. Does it come through our, well, I guess it would have to come through our ordinance.
It'd
Or
have
would
to
it
be a
be a
section.
separate ordinance?
I'm not sure, but I know
Agricultural.
they would have to be something put in place, you know.
Okay. Well, it's not like we're the first city or county to do this, so it's being done out there, so I think we can figure out how to make it happen. It's just a matter of whether the council wants to move forward with it tonight, I guess, is basically, is that what I'm assuming that you're asking for?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Any questions?
Water rates?
Water rates, you ready for that one?
Mhm.
Water rates, we haven't changed since 2010. So in looking at our financial analysis for the water and sewer department with the rural development loans, the projects that we have going on for the plant and the things that were much needed, we need about $142,000 a year more than we have in revenue. And with the new Georgia Water Audit Program, they also would like to change the way our rates are set, just for their own analysis of numbers. They don't like the fact that we have up to 1,000 gallons on the minimum, because they can't tell from that minimum, are those customers using 500 gallons, are they using 700 gallons, are they using 1,000? So they actually ask that we either go away from having gallons used under that minimum, or do away with our tiered rate structure, like where the rates go up as you use more water. The tiered rate structure is part of our water conservation plan required by EPD. So there's a problem with moving away from that. So the suggestion both by Tim Grogg and the Georgia Water Audit was to drop the 1,000 gallons off the minimum and customers to pay for all the water that they use and just have that minimum as a base charge. And that's actually going to generate about $133,000 extra per year. So basically,
With 2,500 water customers.
and
So
those-
what is that, $5 a customer basically?
If you're residential inside, it's going to impact you by $5 if you're using 1,000 gallons.
Outside,
If you're
so-
outside, yeah, and commercial's different based on your meter size, but it doesn't have the potential to impact those customers any more than that 1,000 gallon rate.
And in 2010, when we were all here, so hopefully everybody remembers this. In 2010, there had not been a rate increase in many, many years.
I think it was a couple of years. We did some dollars on the minimum, like in 2007, 2008.
It was 2009.
Oh, was it?
Might have been
Well, I say-
2009.
I thought
No,
that
it
was
was
one of the things
yeah,
that
it was
GFA had an
beginning, it was
issue with.
beginning of 2009.
Okay.
Because when we were doing our GFA loans, I know that was one of the issues. We had not had regular
Yeah.
increases, small increases.
Well, I think
So
before that, it had an increase in 15 years, I think it was.
And we need to really look at the impact on customers. It is actually better for the customers to see a small increment every year than opposed to us coming back to the table every 2 or 3 years and doing something that is a more of a significant impact at one time. And also it keeps us more in line with where we need to be, because cost of living, cost of everything, overhead is going up every year. And if we're not keeping up with that, then we have to raise rates more to compensate for what we didn't do a couple of years before. So
cost of replacing old infrastructure is
Yes.
going up. So that's where we're going to
It
get
is.
caught if we don't do proper rate increases at the
Yeah.
right time.
I
And you hate doing this much at one time, but you don't have a lot of choice.
Well, I know whenever we went up to,
Afraid we don't have to go back.
whenever we went up to, what was it, $12?
We didn't the next year, we
One
went.
time. We had went for the 15 years probably, it was like $6.50 basic charge, and then like $1.50 per thousand after that. And then we had to jump up to like $12, you know. At
And-
one time, plus we went from $1.50 up to, what was it, $5? $4 or $5. So it was a big increase on everybody at that time. If you wait, say 10 years or whatever.
And the thing that customers don't realize is they think we're the government, we're the city of Blue Ridge, and we have all this money coming in, but water water only takes care of water and it only gets money from water, so you have to make enough to maintain every year, and that's all we do. So they don't realize we don't have extra money not to go up on rates when things go up.
And we don't have
So
extra money to put lines in unless we
Yeah.
have sufficient rates.
But this should cover what we need. According to Tim and the Georgia Water Audit, this should help us out with the debt service on replacing the infrastructure that's in bad shape, the water plant and the tank, the new tank. So I think it's a good starting point, and if we can get that going and where it takes effect in January, then of course that will be valid for next year's water audit, which will also help us on our water audit score.
Which we need all the help we can get.
Well, and the good thing about the
Well, a lot of things are gonna help it. The
Yeah.
plant's gonna make a
Yeah,
huge
the plant's
difference.
gonna make a really, really big
Yeah.
difference.
And then at that point, we'll reevaluate and see where we're at.
Thanks, Becky. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We want to go into executive session for personnel. Do I have a motion?
Well, I'd like to discuss this first, the election bill.
Okay.
It was quite large, and I'd like to ask Ms. Doss for a more detailed bill. I've never seen a bill come from an attorney that just said 69.75 hours at $200 an hour. I
Okay.
mean, could we not get a more detailed bill? I mean, that way we can, somebody wants to see it, we can account, well, this is where this money was spent instead of just 69.75 hours.
Doug may have, did you get a detailed bill, Doug? Because I know you called me asking.
No, this is all she sent was this. I
Yeah,
mean,
it came to me and then I forwarded it to Alicia.
I mean, 'cause we wouldn't pay David if he just sent us a bill that said this many hours, because he usually sends a detailed list of when he talked to who and this and that. I mean, we've got to, account for what we spent the money on.
I'd also like to note that the check was written before I was even aware of it being invoiced in.
And the checks usually are when we
Oh.
approve for the county to take over that, I would think.
I just think as a council member, it would be nice to know when there's a $14,000 check basically written.
And I got
$14,900.
a detailed breakdown from Alicia on what it costed per, our workers, their workers, and both attorney fees. But if you'll look on here, she put $10,125.08 for contract labor. I don't know where she got that. It's $1,000 off if you add it up. So we'll have to find out if she just forgot to put something in there or what.
Say that again?
It's $10,125.08. Now when I added up all the contract labor and the advertising and supplies, it come up to $1,000 less. So I don't know if she just forgot to put something in there or
She may have.
what. But, do I need to call in and ask her for that?
You
Or?
can, or I don't care to ask her either.
Okay. If you don't care to ask her, and that way we can put it in there. If somebody wants to look at it, we can justify, hey, we're a win. So.
Bill, I have a question. What does it normally cost for an election?
Over the years, we've probably got by with around $1,000.
And it was,
I'd say,
what was it this
because
year?
we use, we've used our people and then the attorney fees.
Which was done incorrectly too, because by law, you're supposed to have people in,
You're supposed to have
you're supposed to
three.
have 3 people in here. So we've never done that, so.
So if
That's
you'd have
not
added
been done
that in that
correctly.
3-week period, payroll for 3 people would have made a difference. But then if we hadn't had the issue, we wouldn't have had the extra expense.
Which brings me to another point too. As far as I can tell, and I have double checked, there has not been a reprimand by that particular employee who caused us this expense. And there's not anything in her personnel file, which concerns me with our office staff, that we're not monitoring these things. So,
I think we're waiting on the final investigation to be completed before any action is taken.
I still feel that we should have put something in her file stating that we're waiting on action. We're waiting on the final outcome.
It was pretty
So-
obvious when she said that she was going to hide it from us. So I think that would have been enough for a write-up right
I
there.
don't think that was
I
her
think she was
exact words.
harassed as well, though.
Do
that
what?
she wasn't
Yeah,
harassed.
she was harassed.
And was she harassed by you?
By you right here in this office.
She wasn't harassed by me. I actually found out what she did. I brought it to her attention. I brought it to the world's attention,
You
to
sure
the
did.
city's attention.
You sure did.
So I'm actually a hero.
You sure are.
I brought it to everyone's attention, whether you guys want to see it or not. She admitted to, actually, she committed to it.
Well,
She admitted to
I
a
believe there's
felony.
an investigation right now.
There is
But
an
there-
There is an
illegal-
investigation, so we
I-
can
I-
stop
There is an
both
investigation.
subjects.
Your
We'll stop.
illegal.
Okay, that's enough,
voting.
Angie, that's enough, Rhonda.
Excuse me?
I-
Did you
I-
just
I-
accuse me of something?
I didn't accuse you of
I
anything.
think,
I
I
know
think
there's
the
an
attorney
investigation
recommended that
of.
nothing happened until after the investigation.
I think it would be
Excuse me?
best with cameras rolling that we don't discuss this matter any
Yes.
further at this point. Is
Well-
what I would recommend.
Yes.
He's the one who brought
Okay.
it up, so.
Let's do an executive session. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion for an executive session?
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?